Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the morning call. I'm Evan Lazarus. I'm the CEO of T3 Live. I'm filling in for Scott today, who's out. It is just an absolute mess here in New York and all over the Northeast. The weather is just abysmal, making it very difficult for people to get in, which is why we're off to a little bit of a late start here, so my apologies for that. So let's get right into it. I want to talk market. I want to talk some individual trades. I want to go over some of the highlights, some of the recent ideas that you've seen in the Off the Charts nightly newsletter. So let's jump into it. First, we're going to look at broader markets, SPYs, S&P. Here's a daily chart, and I know Scott has covered this several times. We're back into an area where you can call this pretty substantial support down in this 175 zone. You can see back left here in September, this was resistance. We broke out in mid-October, and we rallied through slowly, but rallying into that 185 peak in early 2014, and now we're back into that support zone. So what do I think happens here? Well, I think this market is primed for a little bit of consolidation. I think it's going to have a little bit of trouble just, continuing this cascade. And what I suspect will happen is we'll get a couple of days of consolidation, possibly even a little bit of a bounce. I know some of the technicians on the shorter term may be looking for a little bit of a head and shoulders to build, this area being a left shoulder, this structure being a head, and possibly a development of maybe even a little bit of a right shoulder over here over the next, few sessions, even possibly the next few weeks. So we're going to keep an eye on that in the near term, as I think, again, you might see some ebb and flow in the days to come. But we're at an area where, I think it's maybe a little safer to step in with some calculated buy setups. Now, that being said, we've seen a lot more downside action in the last couple of sessions. So the shorts have been paramount. Obviously, some of the long trades that we've been so accustomed to over the last, 6-7 months, or even the last 5 years for that matter, have really sort of tapered out and become a much tougher find. So let's take a look here at some trade ideas that I think are worth noting. Here's Gilead. Again, stocks that are still showing some good relative strength, that if the market were to get a little bit of a pop, you could see some buyers step in. Gilead probably, more along the lines of breaking out above that 82 level. You can see here in the very short term. We get back above, clearly above that 82 and a quarter level. There's room to maybe go higher in that name. What else we got on the long side? Comcast, not a high flyer, but again, Comcast been in a nice, steady trending market. You can see rising 21 EMA, rising 8. Obviously, as the market's found some resistance, so has the stock. But it looks like a nice basing pattern here developing. I would keep an eye on Comcast for some possibly a trade through these highs up here around that 55 zone. Again, some good structure developing in here. Just may need some more time, as well as a market to participate. CRM, Salesforce.com, again, showing good short-term relative strength. Keep an eye on this near-term breakout level. That's right around, let's say, 61.50 plus or minus. So I'd keep an eye on CRM for new highs there. What else do we have on the long side? A couple of just, random trade ideas for those that are seeking such. As the market, again, into that support zone, tough to call here. Here's General Dynamics, GD, again, showing nice consolidation up here above that 97 zone. You can see just flagging. So a couple of days here, we might see some an upward push here. Again, good relative strength overall to the market. HIMAX, HIMX, a stock that was in off the charts not too long ago as a winner. Here, 15, above this resistance zone. You can see we've had a couple of touches here just above 15, so there's some pretty strong resistance up here. But overall, showing good, relative strength, and we could see some another push higher here if the market were to potentially, bounce a little bit. So again, I wanted to show you just a couple of ideas there on the long side that, you may not have on your radar that could be worth watching in the days to come. Should the market get a little bit of a short-term bounce. Micron, another one, MU. Again, these aren't the most compelling patterns in the world, but levels that I think you could pay attention to for some short-term trades through that 24 area here in Micron could see some buyers step in and some new highs possibly. Now let's flip the coin. Let's take a look at the short side. Again, I have a couple of trade ideas, and some of these you're going to find in off the charts. So we'll pop right into those trade ideas. And some of these, again, little short-term oversold, so I wouldn't get overzealous on these. But worth noting, you can see CapitalOne COF. We got that breakdown through this basing pattern around 70 into an area where I would call this pretty substantial support. So, you might want to wait for a couple of sessions here before, dipping your toes on the short side, but worth watching. A little extended here short-term off the 21 EMA and into, like I said, an area where we could see some buyers step in and some short-term consolidation. But worth watching on the short side is that one looks like it still has lower to go in the cards. Goldman, another financial name, very similar looking here. And again, we got that short-term breakdown through this, what was it, 163.5 plus or minus. So again, a little short-term basing in here over the next couple of sessions, and I would keep an eye on Goldman for lower prices. Right here, right now, tough to say, but this stock could trade down to the 155 zone. That would be somewhere in this, more substantial support area. So we'll keep an eye on that one as well. Again, these are not for things that you might want to jump into right now, but just some ideas that you want to build into your watch list. OLN, again, another one on the short side. Looks like it might have some lower prices in the cards coming out of this consolidation pattern over the last few days, and it looks to me like this stock could get back down to this 22 zone, which is really more substantial support. So we'll keep an eye on that one as well. Again, just some ideas to throw out there. Some inverse lever ETFs. Again, good for the active trader. These are always good, in more volatile markets for those that are seeking, opportunity, by exploiting that short-term volatility. Here's the SQQQ. This is a this is an inverse NASDAQ 100 ETF. And we've had a nice pop here off this 55 low. And this will trade inverse to the NASDAQ 100. Again, like I said, I don't recommend these for long-term trades. But for those seeking short-term opportunity, there's always, the 1 to 3 day type trades in here. And I think this one, we could see a trade back to the 70 area. Looks like it broke out a little bit here. A little bit of a, descending wedge. We could see, like I said, a trade back up into that 70 zone. Obviously, a little bit of basing here would help. That would essentially mean the market goes lower. So we'll keep an eye on that one as well. TZA, which is the 3 times inverse small cap ETF. Again, nice pop off the lows from 16 to 20. But I would watch how this one consolidates over the next couple of sessions, as it could get, I would say the possibilities exist for the stock to, maybe trade up into that 21 to 22 zone, somewhere back up here. Again, that's not, a big move at this point, but for those seeking, a little bit of that counter trend or looking for opportunity, even as a hedge against, a long portfolio or whatever, whatever works for you, whether it's just a trade or, again, as a hedge. Some other, other ways to think about approaching a market that has obviously changed its complexion and in the short term, and now people are, obviously saying, okay, now what do I do? Do I buy the dip? Do I wait? Is this something, more substantial? So this is one of those time periods where you have to pull back the reins, lower your risk, look for, very calculated, specific opportunities. That's why, again, I thought it would be wise to use this time to share with you some trade ideas. A couple other things. Again, I'm going to pull up the off the charts, which I have here in front of me. This is our nightly newsletter. For those that, don't get it, it's filled with these types of trade ideas every night. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, I'm going to bring it up on the website. We do archive all our off the charts, so we can pull up last night's off the charts. Again, this can be found at t3live.com. And you can see, just to show you, we added, Salesforce.com CRM and Baker Hughes. We currently have some ideas that are in motion listed up here in this table, as well as some short ideas. So you get both sides of the coin. Obviously, in bull markets or bull runs, you're going to see a lot more ideas in the long table, and in bearish environments, you're going to start to see that shift in terms of idea flow. You're going to see more ideas start to populate on the short side. So a couple of ideas here on the short side. We have GME, BBY, and CRUS, a couple of names. And below, again, you can see how those trades set up. So if you're not a subscriber of Off the Charts, and right now the price points are $30 a month or $300 for an annual subscription, you know, you are missing out on finding those select diamonds in the rough. And you can go back as a subscriber and review all the prior editions. Again, here's Baker Hughes, another, you know, what looks to be like an interesting trade idea setting up should the market give you some more, you know, a little bit of a bounce. Just again, what separates, in my opinion, bad from good and good from great as a trader in this business is really a function of your preparation. So what we try to do is we try to give you ideas that'll help get you more prepared and put some perspective into what you do and how you do it. I've met so many traders in my time that have been perma-bulls. I've also met a sliver of those that have been, you know, completely on the other side of the coin where they're always looking for shorts. And truthfully, the people that always succeed in the long run as a trader are those that are a little bit more objective and can, you know, flip from a long bias to a short bias and, you know, have good actionable trade ideas to support, you know, what they do, because it's really about finding, you know, risk-reward situations rather than just having an opinion. So we're going to wrap it up here for the morning call. Market opens shortly. As always, a planned trader is a profitable trader. I'm Laz, and I hope you have a great trading day. Talk to you soon.